Hello everyone, and today we're back into another tier list. And today we're going to be ranking all of the water types in Loomian Legacy. So, I think we got all the water types. Let me just check to make sure that there aren't any left. So yeah, we are ranking all the water types in Loomian Legacy. Well, we're going to rank a few of them. Some of the pre-evolutions will not be up here, but we have some of the middle evolutions that could be used, and also we got all of the fully evolved ones. So, let's get right into this, and we're going to start with Reptile. Now, as weird as this sounds, Reptile is actually really good. It has the same abilities as Luminami, although it is a little worse than Luminami. Although, it doesn't have that pesky dark weakness, so honestly it could be in the great tier, but although, slap down and it loses its defenses, so just like every other pre-evolution, they are going to be ranked a little lower. Luminami, I think we all know where that thing goes. It's probably one of the best pivot users in the game. Just like with Reptile, it has, it has Flash and Flee with Power Napper, and it's able to get health back very easily, so it definitely deserves in the great tier. Gunpod? You're going to be shockingly surprised where I put Gunpod on this list. Surprisingly good. It's actually surprisingly good. If it's very robust with Drop of Youth, it actually hits harder than Ventation with Battering Ram. It actually does hit harder than Ventation. Although, again, Slapdown does mess it up, and it also has less energy, so it's not quite as good as Ventation, although it is in the good tier. Ventation? Not sure. I think it's in between great or good, but I'm not 100% sure where it would be. If I was able to pick one, I think Ventation is good. It has the highest melee defense in the game, and it's probably the best out of all the good tier, but there are so many good water types right now, and also Ventation does struggle on any of its other moves other than Battering Ram. Plus, it can't really heal as well, so it's in the good tier. I think Luminami's in the great, Ventation's in the good. Now we're going to get into Bezeldew, and Bezeldew again. Another good pre-evolution. This one's in the good tier. This is actually really good in PvP. Amazing defenses on both sides. Can set up Peace of Mind, and now with extra coverage, can actually do very well. And actually has soft water, just like Ventation. Although, like I said, it is a pre-evolution, so it doesn't have as much energy and health, so it is a little harder to use. Plus, Slapdown exists, but hey, it's actually a really good pre-evolution. Probably the best out of the pre-evolutions, honestly. We'll see, though. Deludrix is only good. It's so frail and it's weak to so much. It just makes it very tough to use. We have a lot of good water types, I just realized. I just realized we're going to have a lot of good water types. We're going to go for Garlash. Good. Fast speed, hits hard. It's basically a slower hunter that hits harder, which makes Garlash really good. I don't think it's quite in the great, though. But it is actually very, 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 very good. Now we're going to go into Arpygo. Arpygo, I think it's good. It can actually heal. It's faster than Garlash. It has electric coverage. Despite not hitting as hard, it has better coverage and actually can regen its health. Plus, quick recovery is a very good ability for Arpygo. So it can swap in, soak a status, and then come back in later, which makes it very good. And like baiting out the Tase, baiting out the Hypnotize. It's really good for stuff like that. Arpygo is extremely underrated in my opinion. And Fluff, another good pre-evolution. Just like Blowtox and Barblast, its defensive typing is amazing. It can get rid of poison barbs, and it's just really good. Once again, this is the fourth water pre-evolution that's in the good tier. That is the fourth one, which is just insane. There are a lot of great water pre-evolutions, and we haven't even got to the best one, in my opinion. Best one's just about to come up. But, Barblast. Oh, gosh. Okay. Barblast, not Barblast, it's Blowtox. Barblast is amazing. Blowtox, you stink. You stink. The only thing it has better than Barblast is a big speed advantage, but after that, it gets outclassed by everything. Its melee defense is high, but not really that high. It also has low range defense and doesn't have that much offensive pressure. It can place icicle traps and heal health back, and it is probably one of the faster tanks, but it's just not worth using when there's other water types in the game which can tank it better. Like, you can use Mackerel or Circame. You can use Arpaigo. You can use Ventation. You can use Bezeldew and Illuminati. You can use Barblast, which, by the way, Barblast is in the great tier. We're going to talk about him a little later, but yeah. Blowtox just does not fit up to the standard, despite being a great defensive typing, considering Barblast outclasses it in pretty much every single way, apart from speed. So, Blowtox isn't bad, but it's in the okay tier, and it probably is in contention for one of the worst water types. As weird as it sounds, it's 4 water pre-evolutions above it. Now, Barblast. Let's talk about Barblast. One of the best overall tanks in the game. Once again, just like Pwuff, amazing defensive typing, toxic in water. It can hit very hard with its secret ability. I mean, Water Bomb is the same damage as Tsunami, which is huge. Has very solid offensive pressure. It can set up with Power Focus. And also just seems to be a really good tank on both sides. Its only flaw is its low speed, but even then, it's a tank. It's not meant to really outspeed anything, so it makes sense. Skelet. If this was before Lanthian City, it would be here. This would be where Skelet could be before Lanthian. But it went from worst to okay to good to great. Skelet has risen from the bottom to the top. It got Outburst, Drudge, Phantom Slash, Primal Slash. It got so many good moves, and it actually has probably the best coverage out of any water type in the game right now. It's amazing. It's amazing. You set up with one Drudge, you outspeed everything in the game. Outburst hits very hard. It has pivot options. It has Square One. It has Aqua Jaws, the lower melee defense. Combative, amazing ability for Tyrexes. It's amazing. It's a really, really good water type, and it definitely deserves to be in the great tier. I think it's a step above all these. That's how much better Skelet got. Now, Wildile. Now, I think Wildile is good. Another water pre-evolution with very good bulk. And the thing is, it has very good bulk while still having speed. This might honestly be better than Mulmerk. As weird as it sounds, this might honestly be better than Mulmerk. You can run the same moves as it with Sap Plant. You don't even have to really run Sap Plant. You can just run Aqua Jaws and another move with Photosynthesis and Bulk Up, and this thing will do some nice work. Mulmerk, in my opinion, is worse than Wildile, in my opinion, because it's slower despite being bulkier. Without the Drop of Youth, it's slower, and it also doesn't really have that much of a damage increase compared to Wildile. It's good, but it gets outclassed by a lot of water types. Heck, I'm even thinking about putting Mulmerk in okay, but I think I'm going to keep it in good. Cavenish is okay. I think Quadweek the Toxic, I'm actually not thinking about it. I'm putting Mulmerk down here. I'm putting it below Wildile. I'm sorry. Although, again, Wildile is Quadweek the Toxic too. It's just like Cavenish. Although I think Wildile is a little bit better. I think Wildile is a little bit better though. Actually, no, I think they're in the same tier as Cavenish. I think they're in the same tier. Although Mulmerk is probably the worst out of these three. Although, let's get to Cavenish. Quadweek the Poison, which is the reason why it's down here, but amazing Baffle user. Really underrated Baffle user, and it's the only Baffle user with Sap Plant, which actually gives it a use. Like, it's insane to even think about it. It actually has a use. Like, it's actually really good. Honestly, Cavenfish might be better than Bonfino, although Bonfino, I think, is in the good. It barely reaches the good, though. 109 base speed is what does it. If it didn't have 109 base speed and great coverage, it would have definitely not been in the good. It would have been in the okay, because it just doesn't flat out hit hard enough. Although, just like Arpaigo, it does have recovery. And despite being pretty rough defensively, it does outspeed a ton of stuff, which does help it out a lot. So that's why it is in the good tier. and not with Blowtox, which gets outclassed by everything. Alright, guys. Mackerel. Sorry if you heard that thud, that was my arm. Mackerel. Y'all are not gonna believe where I'm gonna put this thing. The thing that's funny, it's better than Sakame. It's better than Sakame! It honestly might be better. It might honestly be better than Ventation. It might. I'm serious. Like, this is going in the great tier. I am serious when I say this. If you run very robust on this thing, or robust clever, and use body crash with peace of mind, you have an unstoppable force here. Because now it has Rejuvenate, has Body Crash, Peace of Mind, and you can run a Water or Frost Beam, and boom! You have an unstoppable tanky Loomian with amazing bulk on both sides that can't really be beat. Honestly, Mackerel is really good with drop of youth. Like I said, though, Slapdown is a thing, but it doesn't matter. It outclasses all the other pre-evolution water types. And with Body Crash, it makes it hit harder than Sakame, which is just amazing. This is by far, this could be one of the best pre-evolution in the game. Besides Odasho. This is number 2 in terms of pre-evolutions. And I wouldn't be shocked if I see people use this more. Sakame isn't good. It got upgraded a lot in the update. Body Crash and Rejuvenate definitely helped it out. Problem is, it also, although the reason why it's good, Mackerel's better. Mackerel is better, but Sakame is actually usable now, which is good. Shark Pod, good. It's only an okay. Like, it's so many weaknesses to really be used properly. Let's also look at you, Submarine. Submarine is only good, and again for the same reasons. The reason why it's not higher is because, again, so many weaknesses. Quad weak to electric really hurts it, honestly. So yeah, although Rev Up can really sweep the game, though, it's gonna be a very, very good Rev Up user. So I would definitely be worried about this, but it's weak to so many things that it is tough to use. Lumica, another good pre-evolution. I am serious when I say this. Water probably has the best pre-evolutions in the game in terms of water types. And in some areas could be better than Lumelo, although we all know where Lumelo goes. It's a barb user with poison barbs that can provoke and hypnotize. The best barbs user in the game. You can also place poison barbs if you really want to. You can run provoke to stop other people from setting up on you. You can run hypnotize to put people to sleep. So, yeah. Lumelo definitely deserves to be in great. Lumica could be up there too, but I think Lumelo is a little bit better. Plus, I think it has a little bit better bulk. Now let's go into Cephalops. Oh dear. We already know where Cephalops is gonna go. Soul Drain, Icicle Traps, Hypnotize, Frost Beam, Tsunami, Square One, yeah. Mainly Soul Drain though, Soul Drain. And the fact that it can tank super effective hits with ease while gaining health back just makes it so scary. It's still in the great tier. It might not be as good as Illuminati now, but still, it is still one of the best roamings in the game. Now, Akalos, only in the good. It does have a lot of good advantages, though, compared to other water types. I mean, for being a water type, it's not that good as a water type. It's mainly better as an ice type. I mean, it's an ice type that resists fire, which is good, but as a water type, it's only a average water type, with ice coverage, which is good. Plus, it does have deep freeze, so it can hit other water types, but I think this is in the low good, especially if you compare this as a water type. I think if as an ice type, it's above average good. I think it's above good. But I think as a water type, it's only in the good. So, that is my water type tier list. All the water Loomians in the game, and where would I rank them all? Like, who would be the worst in the game? Out of these, who would be the worst? And I'm still not sure if I should involve pre-evolutions, but if I were to say, I think Sharkpod is definitely the worst. It's like so many weaknesses to really be used properly. Like, at least with Cavanish, even though it has a quad weakness to Toxic, it does have other resistances that does help it out. It's really good against Tyrex, and you can baffle out when you predict the Snagoop. You can't really do that with Sharkpod, considering Submarine does outclass it in every way, when with Cavanish, on the other hand, can outclass Spanfino in certain ways. So, that's why I'm not putting, that's why I'm not a Sharkpod at worst. I think out of the fully evolved ones, though, I think Blowtox is by far the worst. Not even close. But I think Blowtox is better than Sharkpod. Come on. Come on. Blowtox is bad. But he's not worse than Sharkpod, who has 5 different weaknesses and a quad weak to electric. While Submarine outclasses it, so, there's really... I gotta be reasonable here and say that Sharkpod, unfortunately, is the worst water type in the game. Now, who's the best water type in the game? If I were to rank the top 3, Lumica's definitely up there. And honestly, Cephalops is also out there, but I'm debating on who the third one is. Mackerel, despite being a great pre-evolution, not quite up there. I don't think it's quite in the top water types. Although it is still very good. Out of these 3, who would be the third? I think if I were to pick one, I think it would have to be Barblast. Skelet has been improved, but can't hit other water types. Lumello is very slow, and despite being a good Barbs user, can't really get health back other than Health Amulet. So, who is the best water type out of these 3? And if I were to pick one, I think we all know who it would be. Illuminati. Come on. It can pivot. Power Napper. Great defenses on both sides. It can run a melee one. It can run a range one. It can pivot out with Flash and Flee. It has Mega Chomp to hit other plant types. It's really, really good. Illuminati is definitely the best water type in the game. Hope you guys enjoy this tier list. I know everyone's tier list will be different. And you probably won't have this many pre-evolutions on the list, but honestly, the water typing has amazing pre-evolutions. So, yeah, I'm really happy to rank a lot of them. So, hope you guys enjoyed this tier list, and I will see y'all all later. Bye-bye! Never mind, everyone. I actually did forget about a water type. Sorry about that. I forgot about Cannibal. I am very sorry. I looked after the video, and I forgot about Cannibal. I don't really think of Cannibal as a water type, though. It's pretty bad as a water type. It's amazing as a brawler type. So, I honestly didn't think. I always forgot Cannibal is actually a water brawler. So, I'm sorry about that. Although we will rank Cannibal now. If I was to rank him, I would rank it in great. I don't think it's quite as good as the other water types, but it's amazing. I love Cannibal. It hits very hard. It deserves to be in the great tier. Sorry that I forgot about Cannibal, guys. That was definitely an accident that I've luckily fixed before this video came out. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoyed this tier list. I know I messed it up a little bit, but hey, everyone makes mistakes. It happens, and I'm glad that I redeemed it. Everyone's tier list will be different, and I will see y'all all later. Bye-bye!